Bhawanipatna, a newly established university, has been trying to establish its name, and every Friday there is a lecture series. We call it Uttishtata Motivational Lecture Series. Today, that auspicious Friday, I welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor of Kalahandi University, Professor Sanjay Kumar Satpathy sir, our esteemed guest from America, Colonel Sudarshan Mishra sir, our esteemed registrar, Sri Pitambar Bhoi sir, esteemed Comptroller of Finance, Sri Suresh Pedisika sir, my dear colleague Jharna madam, the cadets from all over India, esteemed ANOs, and all other officers of different ranks. We have been conducting a national level tribal trekking camp called Odisha Trek of Kalahandi. So cadets from 14 states have gathered here from 5 NCC directorates. So, Honorable Vice Chancellor wanted a desire to invite Colonel Sudarshan Mishra, who would be addressing all the cadets of 14 states on this day. Today's topic is the law of life. In Odia, we call it Jivana Sutra. So, I invite you all once again to this Uttishtata program, and may I now request our sister Lipsa Maharana to sing a patriotic song. Lipsa Maharana, please.
ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ପ୍ରଣାମ, ଶୁଭ ସନ୍ଧ୍ୟା। ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ଜନନୀ ଯାହାର ମମତା ମଧୁର, ଜନନୀ ଯାହାର ମମତା ମଧୁର, ସେହି ମୋ ପବିତ୍ର ଭୂଇଁ, ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ବୀର ଶହୀଦଙ୍କ ବଳିଦାନ ଏଠି ଚିର ଅମର ବନ୍ଧୁତା, ସାଗର ঘুমরে শোভছে বিজয়র মহাগাথা। মা মাটি ছড়া କିଛି ଲୋଡ଼ା ନାହିଁ, ମା ମାଟି ଛଡ଼ା କିଛି ଲୋଡ଼ା ନାହିଁ, ଜୀବନ ଦାତା ପାଇ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ। ସ୍ୱର୍ଗଠୁ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଆମରି ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ, ଭାରତ ଭୂଇଁ।
Thank you, Mishra, for your sweet patriotic song. Really, Bharat, our India, our motherland, is great in all respect, and we are proud to be Indians. So now may I request our Honorable Registrar, Sri Pitamar Bhoisar, to address the gathering.
ଆଜିର 72ତମ ପ୍ରେରଣାଦାୟୀ ବକ୍ତୃତାମାଳା ଉତ୍ତିଷ୍ଟର ସଭାପତି ପ୍ରଫେସର ମାନ୍ୟବର ଶ୍ରୀଯୁକ୍ତ ସଞ୍ଜୟ ଶତପଥୀ ସାର୍, ଆଜିର ମୁଖ୍ୟ ବକ୍ତା ସୁଦର୍ଶନ ମିଶ୍ର ସାର୍, ଆଜିର এই ଉଚ୍ଚିଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ରୋଗ୍ରାମରେ ଆମ ସହିତ ଯୋଡ଼ି ହୋଇଥିବା ବୁଦ୍ଧିଜୀବୀ, ଆମର କଳାହାଣ୍ଡି ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟ ପରିବାରର ସମସ୍ତ ସଦସ୍ୟ ସଦସ୍ୟା, ସମସ୍ତ ସାହିତ୍ୟପ୍ରେମୀ ବନ୍ଧୁଗଣ ଏବଂ ଛାତ୍ରଛାତ୍ରୀ ଏବଂ ଆମ ସହିତ ଆଜିର ସ୍ପେଶିଆଲ ଗେଷ୍ଟ ହିସାବରେ ଆସିଥିବା ଆମର ଏନ୍ସିସି ପରିବାରରୁ ଆସିଥିବା ସମସ୍ତ ସଦସ୍ୟ ସଦସ୍ୟା ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଆଜି ଆମର ଉତ୍ତିଷ୍ଟ ପରିବାର ତରଫରୁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ସ୍ୱାଗତ ଜଣାଉଛୁ, ଶୁଭେଚ୍ଛା ଜଣାଉଛୁ। ଆଜିର ଟପିକ୍ ଉପରେ ଡିସ୍କସନ୍ କରିବେ ସମ୍ମାନୀୟ କର୍ଣ୍ଣେଲ ଶ୍ରୀଯୁକ୍ତ ମିଶ୍ର ସାର୍, ଯେଉଁଟାକି ଜୀବନର ସୂତ୍ର ବା ଲ ଅଫ୍ ଲାଇଫ୍, ଗୋଟେ ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ଜୀବନ ପାଇଁ ଆମେ ଯେମିତି ପରିବାରରେ ଯେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ନୀତି ନିୟମ ଉପରେ ଆମେ ବନ୍ଧା, ସେମିତି ଗୋଟେ ଶୃଙ୍ଖଳିତ ଜୀବନ ଯାପନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆମ ଜୀବନରେ ଯେଉଁ ନିୟମ ଅଛି, ଯଦି ଆମେ ତାକୁ ଠିକ୍ ହିସାବରେ ମାନିବା ତାହେଲେ ଆଗକୁ ଆମେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଭଲ ମଣିଷ ହେଇପାରିବା, ଭଲ ନାଗରିକ ହେଇପାରିବା। ତେଣୁ ଏହି ଅବସରରେ ମୁଁ ଆଜିର ମୁଖ୍ୟ ବକ୍ତା ସମ୍ମାନୀୟ ଶ୍ରୀଯୁକ୍ତ ମିଶ୍ର ସାର୍ଙ୍କୁ ମୁଁ ପୁଣି ସ୍ୱାଗତ ଜଣାଇ ମୋର ବକ୍ତବ୍ୟ ଶେଷ କରୁଛି। ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ନମସ୍କାର, ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ।
Thank you, Honorable Mishra, Kalahandi University. Thank you for your inspirational speech. Now it's time to know about a great soldier of India who has devoted his life for the sake of, for the cause of our mother India. So we shall listen about our chief guest and speaker, Colonel Sudarshan Mishra, from my colleague, Dr. Jarna Rani Dhangra Maji. So now may I request uh, Dhangra Maji to speak something about our guest.
Honorable Registrar, Kalahandi University, Honorable PG Council Chairperson, Kalahandi University, Honorable Controller of Finance, Kalahandi University, and our dear guest, esteemed Colonel Sudarshan Mishra. I welcome you all, of course, the cadets and the officers of NCC Directorate, my colleagues and my students. I welcome you all to the 72nd edition of Udhistata today. A speaker, if he is an army veteran, a speaker, if he is an army veteran, needs no introduction as his life experience speaks volumes about himself. However, I take it as my rare privilege to introduce a person of his rank and profile. So today, we have with us Colonel Sudarshan Mishra. Colonel Mishra is an alumnus of the Indian Military Academy, Dehradun. He was born and brought up in Puri and graduated with economics honors from SSC College Puri in the year 1974. In his college days, he took active part in the Army wing of NCC and secured a C certificate with distinction, which was essential for joining Army back then. After his graduation, he was interviewed by the NCC director at Odisha to join the army, and he passed his interview with flying colors and later on joined the IMA. After finishing his officer's training, he was commissioned into the Regiment of Artillery in 1976 and served for 32 years in the Indian Army. During his service, he served in the length and breadth of the country, from the mountains of Kashmir to arid deserts of Rajasthan, and as well as the tropical rainforests of the northeastern region. He underwent the most prestigious Defense Service Staff College course in Wellington, Nilgiris, near Ooty, and thus secured chances of serving in challenging assignments. Having undergone a series of high-pressure appointments, he rose to the rank of colonel and commanded one of the medium regiments in the western sector, especially during Kargil war operations. There is also another side to his personality, which is Colonel Mishra is a great learner. Since learning has been always a never-ending process for Mishra, Colonel Mishra, even at the age of 53, he decided to pursue Executive MBA from IIM Kolkata. Even though he superannuated from the army in December 2007, after a 3 decade plus of unblemished career, he, being a workaholic, wanted to spend some years in learning the thrills and feels of a corporate job and finally retired from there in 2014. Colonel Mishra has been the Senior Vice President of Odisha State Ex-Service League for a tenure of 3 years, and as an active Rotarian carrying out a series of philanthropic tasks involving the art of giving and resolving the pension-related issues of the retired defense forces of the state of Odisha. Currently, Colonel Mishra is settled in Bhubaneswar and lives with his wife, Bharati. He has a son who works as a financial consultant in Mumbai and a daughter who works as a mechanical engineer consultant in the USA, and he will be speaking to us from the USA. I welcome you, sir, to the 72nd edition of Udhistata and request you to share with the young cadets and aspiring defense personnel sitting here to share with them the law of your life. Welcome, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. I hope I'm audible. Okay, I'll request rest of you to kindly go muted. Respected Honorable Professor Sajjay Satpathy, sir, the Vice Chancellor of Kalahandi University, the faculty members, the staff members, and entire hierarchical system of Kalahandi University, dear NCC cadets, and all officials of NCC fraternity, in particular the Directorate of NCC Odisha, and from all other states. Good evening and namaskar to all of you. I feel very lucky and privileged to speak to such a large gathering of students. I was told by Vice Chancellor Sir this afternoon before starting the talk that there are 400 cadets got congregated through this system to be spoken to. I hope continuing with this English language, Queen's language will be okay for everybody. Or if you want me to speak in Hindustani or mix, it's also acceptable. So for the timing, I'll continue in English. I'll try and speak slowly. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, to just remind you, I draw immense pleasure in speaking to the young generation of our country, the NCC cadets. It's a great privilege for me to speak to such a gathering, and I have been allotted half an hour for my talk. What I'll do, I will get into my talk in a totally informal way and covering the topic of the day, like it has been said, the laws of life, and which I would tell you in the way I have gone through it right from my rememberable childhood and how I rose to the level of a colonel. In fact, just to tell all of you, like the doctors, they don't lose out the um, salutation doctor. The defense forces rankers, colonel, brigadier, what have you, they also don't lose out till they are there. So, to begin with, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I have, I'll just take, I'll share the screen and show you the format that I want to go with. Just a minute. It's not coming. Hmm. Okay, I hope it's visible. So the laws of one's life will, like it was, I said it will be, I'll be talking about myself, how the things have been with me. So why join the Indian Army? Next, I'll tell you my experience and how to prepare for the Indian Army from your school days, pave your pathway in your college days, and how I have undergone the interviews, the training, and the commissioning. Like when the training finishes, you get your rank. Um, in our time, you start getting your salaries from then. So that's the break-even point in one's life. Then, how has been my defense career? The activities, say some important things I'll tell you. The flag meetings, um, what responsibilities one carried out, the command tenure that I had. After command, what all did I do? Superannuation and beyond, and how I stay connected till today, how I intend staying connected, and my final remarks, after which I'll open it for questions from the aspirants, NCC cadets, and whereafter, then I will bake leave. Okay, now back to my screen, ladies and gentlemen. As I said, it's a great speaking to all of you. What I remember of I was an NCC cadet from my school days and also during college, as I said. So or way back in 74. After 15th of August 74, then I left the NCC. I had to leave because of my exams coming up. So the motto of NCC, boys and girls, the motto of NCC, ladies and gentlemen, of NCC is the unity and discipline. It's a good thing. It's a voluntarily that one has to join as an NCC cadet in your school or college days. It's the good thing that you have done by joining the National Cadet Corps. You ask your parents, you ask your teachers, you ask yourself, you introspect yourself. See, once you joined up NCC, you will get that kind of unity. At least whenever in our time, the NCC parade used to be once a week. So whatever timing you have your NCC parades, you get together. You have your different friends, you coming from different levels. So you have different understanding level. You start sharing the pleasure and sorrow. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing that what we call in a broader level, in higher level, unity and diversity that our country follows. So it's a good thing having joined NCC, wherein you get the unity and the discipline. Your life becomes a totally disciplined, whereby your parents are happy, your teachers are happy, your friends and relatives, everybody is happy. Okay, there is a disciplined boy or a girl, which is a requirement in one's life. Right. So, having said that, as I said, I will go over this topic in the next half an hour or so, narrating my personal experience, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'll just get into my school days. See what I remember. I started my schooling way back in 1959, 1959, when I was little close to 6 years of age, which I didn't realize then, which I realized only after I grew up. But I had certain advantages. Advantage in the sense I could become the class monitor. I remember having collected the fees for Ganesh Puja and Saraswati Puja, all those things in our schools, and I could take part in the extracurricular activities, whatever little bit of games, maybe a kabaddi or maybe whatever. I could participate in that. So I used to concentrate on the education part. I used to concentrate on my extracurricular activities. And I remember having secured the scholarship in the standard 3, class 3, and in class 5. As I stated, I'm a very die-hard Odia. I was born in Puri district. I was brought up in undivided Puri district. So I was studying in a place called Nimapada, which is close to Puri, and studying in the boys' high school. So where I entered in the class 6. Before that, I was studying in two other places because my father was in the government service. So he kept moving. So I also kept moving. Some years late, I could make out that yes, I have joined the studies a little late because one of my cousin brother, my father's elder brother's son, he and I we were studying together. He is 4 days junior to me. We were studying together. But my father got transferred to from Puri to Nimapada. That's where whatever happened. So I missed out 1 year plus. So he was studying 2 years ahead of me. He finished his school final. We used to call matriculation those days 11 classes, 11th class, 2 years before me. And so that's when one started really realizing. And more, I realized when I joined the services at the age of 22 plus, when I started earning my salary. So had I studied little 2 years earlier, I would have probably got 2 years more service. That's what it is. Now, while coming to the high school days, those days, whatever activities used to take place in the school, I used to participate. Extracurricular activities, I was also part of the studies. God has been kind. I have been reasonably good student. I got a scholarship after my seventh class, and the scholarship amount, let me share with you, boys and girls, it was 15 rupees per month. But anyway, someone suggested to me and my father to put that money in the post office savings bank, which may be helpful to me for my further studies. And in the class 8, I did two things. Since we are from Odisha, then that point in time, the Hindi language was only not that much, but then we used to have Sanskrit in the Hindi script. So the Hindi teacher of the school used to get rid of some students to do the Hindi class, which was in a place in Wardha in Maharashtra. That's where somebody was conducting this. So somehow he liked my face and he motivated me to do this Hindi preliminary course, which I joined. And by next year, by ninth class, I had finished my Hindi certification. I had done Madhyama Hindi course, which helped me later part of my life. And in the class 8, I joined the National Cadet Corps Junior Wing. We every school you have a group of friends. You like each other's activities, your behavior. So 3 4 of us we were friends, little closer friends. So we decided to join the NCC Junior Wing. We joined it, and around end of the year, sometimes they were taken to an NCC camp. We were in Nimampada. We were taken to a place called Taponga, which is in the adjoining area of Khurda area. But then you have to come in a bus or a truck, whatever, up to Sakigopal, board a train, change the train at Khorda Road, go to Tapang, then get offloaded. So all this, it's class 8 student, 13, 14-year student. So he's undergoing this. So you undergo a lot of experience. And having gone there, then you undergo 2 weeks of NCC camp. So that gives you a lot of experience staying in a tent, eating the food there in a different way. So I remained attached to the NCC for 2 years, eighth and ninth, because the studies were on. And in the ninth standard, those days, ninth class, you have to choose your optional subject. In that school, we had two subjects. One was mathematics. So for those guys who would like to become a doctor and engineer, they have to take mathematics and should be good in studies. So I was reasonably well, as I said, in the studies. So I took mathematics, but within a month or so, I found that I think I'll not be able to manage in mathematics. Then I consulted some of my teachers. I said, "Sir, what to do?" So there was an option of going in for a tuition, which was unaffordable for me at that point in time. So then I decided to give up mathematics optional and go in for physiology hygiene. So physiology hygiene a subject I took, and then there was some murmuring, something somebody said, if you've taken physiology hygiene, you may not secure a good division distinction in your matriculation exam. So that was a challenge for me. Well, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you will be happy to know there are five first division students in our school way back in 1970 when I appeared for the matriculation exam, and I was one of them. Not having mathematics optional, I had physiology hygiene, but even then I had uh, first division. And God has been kind, as I told you. By then, my father had got transferred to Puri, so it facilitated me to and all my siblings to take admission in Puri. So I took admission in Samanta Chandrasekhar College, SCS College, Puri, in the art stream. Having taken in the art stream, so I took whatever subjects and I studied there. Then I got into the senior division NCC wing and took active part. What is active part in NCC, senior division NCC wing? See, you got to have, like we used to have parade once a week, and then you used to have different classes. You have to do different shooting, you have to do different practices. So I used to take part in everything, and certainly I could realize that even in the pre-university standard in the first year, the college, those stages used to be 4 years of college, pre-university, pre-professional. for especially for those people who want to join engineering or medical or science, sorry, National Defense Academy, etc. So after pre-professional, they could leave, and otherwise, then you carry on doing your graduation. So I used to do well my studies. I remember I got a scholarship in my pre-university exam, but by then I had taken a loan scholarship from the government of Odisha, which used to be 50 rupees, 600 rupees a year, 50 rupees per month, which the condition was in case you join defense forces or you join the educational line as a teacher, as a professor, then will be exempted of this refund. So I had taken that loan amount because it was a requirement of having some pocket money, having some expenses. Because, as I said, my father was a class 4 government employee, so he couldn't afford all these things. So you cannot go and stand and ask for different times, different expenses. So coming back to the NCC part, in the pre-professional year, I was selected to be sent on an army attachment camp. That was year of the Lord 1972, and in 1971, you ought to know, remember, or know, India had fought the Bangladesh war, gave liberation to Bangladesh, and our NCC camp was close to Jalpaiguri with the 8 JNK rifles, wherein we had cadets from, boys cadets from all over India. It was an all India NCC camp of 21 days. And in the NCC camp, you carry on doing all the activities, your parade, your running, shooting, then going around the adventure camps, then hill climbing, trekking, what have you. And in between, they used to take us in the evening for some entertainment program, some movie. They used to have screening in the cantonment. They used to take us there, loading up in their trucks. And one day, we were taken to the hospital to go around the hospital, how the military hospital is laid out, wherein we found good number of war wounded soldiers of 1971 operation. Well, I very vividly remember that I and 2 or 3 of my friends, we interacted with them. How did this happen? How did they get the bullet? Where did they get the bullet? And all those things. How are they feeling now? How the family felt about it? So all those things we interacted and got the information. And having done that, so I carried back some experience of the army life, and I had a feeling that army life is better. So in the meanwhile, age is growing up, and your parents also look forward to something that son is done 2 years, so another 2 years he'll finish his college and he should go in for some job. My father was in the excise department. So I used to meet his hierarchy, his boss, and everybody. So his boss, Mr. Munda, was his inspector. So he once or twice he told me, Sudarshan, why don't you plan and join excise force? You're a tall boy. You're doing well in your studies. We would look forward to it. So think over it. Once you finish your graduation, you should let me know wherever I am. Tell your father he'll get in touch with me, and we will work it out. So that was one. And next year, in my second year of college, that point in time, you have to take a particular subject, wherein I decided to go in for economics as my honor subject. And in economics honors, then you have to study a little bit. So I could manage that. I got a little bit of help from my economics professors. I couldn't buy all the books. I got the books from the library, some from my professor, and studying, also simultaneously taking part in the NCC things. So by then, I've already done my NCC B certificate, and those days used to be 2 parts of NCC certificate. I've done part one. Having done part one, so the NCC hierarchy thought that I should be sent on another camp, all India level camp. There was advanced leadership camp, which was held in Guwahati, in a cantonment in Guwahati, wherein I got a posting in my during my service career. So there, again you get along with cadets of different states, cadets of different status of life, mentality, and the army hierarchy, the officers, the JCOs, and those PI staff, the instructors, instructional staff, those who are there. You keep drawing a lot of things. The aim should be to look towards the front, whom are you interacting with, and try and learn better things in life. So that is why we always say evaluate whatever you're learning. So I did that advanced leadership course very well and came back and busy with my studies. And by the end of my second year of BA, I had finished my C certificate. And after some, I think 3 4 months, when the result came, so we used to come under the 6th Odisha NCC Battalion, Puri. The commanding officer was Major Wilson Thomas from the Sikh Regiment. So he came down to our college one of the Sundays, and very smartly turned up, and he was to read out the result. In that, my name came out the first, Sudarshan Mishra, senior under officer Sudarshan Mishra. Then second name was a gentleman's name who was a batch senior to me. He was in the third year, final year of BA. So then he narrated. He said, "Why I read out Sudarshan's name? He's done this with a distinction, and others have done in gradation, all those things." And then he wished all us all the best. He wished all of us all the best for to select the army carrier. So then we used to have a protocol that NCC guy who was leading NCC, the senior under officer, I was just an under officer. So in the final year, you carry out the parade of the Independence Day. We used to have a parade along with the police. And having done that, then you hang your uniform, the NCC, and you say bye, and then get into your studies. So that's what also happened with me. I was the second senior-most cadet to take part in the Republic Day parade in the Puri, wherein the police personnel, the police people come and get in touch with us, see how the parade is, anything to be done. And during Independence Parade, I commanded the NCC parade of the entire contingent of Puri. So having done that, the parade went off well. The additional SP that point in time, Mr. Sahu, who later became a member of the parliament, he came to me congratulating me. He said, "Well done, boy. What's your aim in life? What are you going to become?" I said, "Sir, I'm going to finish my graduation next year. So let's see." He said, "Must try for some competitive exam. We would like to have boys like you in police." So he fed something in my mind that I should look for and I should try for the competitive exams like Indian Police Service and etc. So the time carried on, and I finished my graduation with close to a distinction mark, good percentage. And that's the time one of my departmental professor, Professor Pani, he told me, he said, "You should go in for applied economics. It's a new subject opened up in Bani Bihar in North Carolina University. You should go in for that." I said, "All right, sir." The NCC, who was heading NCC at that point in time, he was Major DK Nanda. God bless his soul, he's no more. He said, "Must try for an entry for the army. You've done very well in NCC. So you apply for it." And after 1 week, he sends his peon home. He called me because the exams had finished. I was staying home. So I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "There is a circular come from the directorate that they have an NCC entry and we have recommended your name from the 6th Odisha NCC Battalion on such and such date. You go and attend the NCC, the interview in the directorate. The DDG NCC will take your interview. There are two cadets from our battalion, one from Khordha, one your second is yourself, and the one each coming from Balasore, Sambalpur, and Barampur. So there are 5 cadets will go for the interview. So I went there, and that happened to be a day after one of my professors' wedding. So I went in that barat. I stayed in a close by place to NCC Directorate. Those days NCC Directorate used to be in Louis Road, where from they have shifted last year. And when we went for the interview, I found 2 gentlemen, 2 boys other than me, one from Barampur, one from Khordha, and myself, 3 of us. So after the interview, the DDG NCC, he carried out interview. Then after that, the interview results were declared by the director, and he read out 2 names, my name and Mr. Ashok Sahu of Khordha. The Barampur boy, he couldn't make it. So this said, you stand shortlisted, you stand selected from us, and please proceed for the preparatory camp to Kamti. Your battalion will give you a ticket, a railway ticket. Proceed there. It's a 1 month camp. You go there, learn things, come back. So that was a month of summer months, in the month of mid-May, close to June. So 2nd of June onwards was the camp in Kamti near Nagpur, where they used to have the Officers Training Academy of the NCC those days. So we went there. We met other boys from other states. Those who are applied for the NCC entry, they were there. We spent good time, learned a lot of things, preparation for the service selection board. And then when I came back, I got my result of the BA, wherein I had secured a 2nd division, and some of my friends, when I discussed this, suggested you take admission. So I decided to take admission, and I took admission in the applied economics in Bani Vihar. The classes were to begin in July, but the classes started late for some reason, and I got the call from the Ministry of Defense to go for the service selection board in the month of October. Myself and Ashok Mahanti, so both of us, it was during the Sera holidays, I remember. Well, boys and girls, that point in time, I didn't have very many shirts and trousers, this and that. College student, whatever you require, that point in time. So I remember one of my friend having presented me one of the used shirts. He said, Sudarshan, you take this shirt, it'll look better on you, put it on. The SSV only required that you should have some savings clothes, decent pair of savings clothes, and you should have 2 white shirts and 2 white banyans for your test, and a pair of PT shoes and 2 pair of white socks, and your normal bedding and all. So you come a day prior to service selection board. I went to service selection board 34. So before going there, when I consulted friends around, he said, wish you all the best, late Lord Jagannath, be kind upon you. That happens to be Allahabad selection board, happens to be a rejection board. So you're going there. Anyway, wish you all the best. So we went there. We stayed 2 days prior. We stayed in a hotel, both of us. Then we went and reported there. And I underwent the service selection board, the 4 days test of different types. For that, boys and girls, those of you who want to go, don't worry. There's not much of, I remember there's not much of a physical exertion. If you've been playing games, if you have been running around, if you've been walking around, uh, then anything will pass. All those tests they had, that monkey rope climbing, I must have done it once or twice in the advanced leadership course in the NCC. So all those things, don't worry about it, anyone who's going for the service selection board. you will get through that. You have to have your confidence in yourself. And after the 4 days, you all are assembled in a service selection board. The result is declared by the head of the institution there, who's to brigadier rank. So the result, when it was announced, out of 29 of us, 4 had got selected. Unfortunately, Mr. Ashok Shahu, who had gone with me, he had not made the grid. So the thing was then that he was given a return ticket, and he was, after lunch, then he was given the gadi such and such, the vehicle such and such time will be dropped at Allahabad railway station. So we went to see him off and then came back there. Then after that, you undergo the medical test. So medical test in the army is again the feedback that you get from around whomsoever you know. That's a very tough medical test. And if you have been again doing extracurricular activities in your student career, don't worry for the medical test. Everything will be fine. You shouldn't have any minor vices of smoking, drinking, or chewing tobacco, etc., etc. So everything will go fine. And after 4 days test, the fifth day, the result declared of the medical board, I was through. Out of 12, 5 people were through, and one was put for some medical, review, something. So 5 people got through. Then we got a return ticket back home. We came back. It was month of October, as I stated you. And when I came back after um Kumar Punima, the college university got opened, and I said, let me go and start classes. So there, whosoever was from my college, they're very happy to know that I have already qualified in the service selection board. And I used to do to and fro from Puri to Bhubaneswar. I had taken some that monthly ticket. There is no, because I was having in mind that in case I get selected, I come in the merit list, I'll be joining Indian Military Academy in the month of January next year, 75. And in case I don't, then I'll carry on studying here. So I used to attend classes. I used to go and attend classes and get back in the evening. That's what my drill was. I must have stayed once or twice in the university hostel when the elections were on. And there I found another gentleman, NP Singh, a Sikh gentleman from Cuttack. His parents were in Cuttack, who was studying there. He said, friend, I also stand selected for the IMA, but he had taken the written test. I just bestowed to tell you, boys and girls and everybody, this NCC entry that point of time, you were exempted the written test. I didn't have to sit for the written test. I straight went for the interview. And then having gone there, then I came back, then I waited. I got my, um, what do you call it, the intimation to join Indian Military Academy in the month of December. Those days we have to deposit 750 rupees at the tuition fees, which took little time for us to organize. There were little other delays. The parents didn't want you to go. Um, so sign. There was a bond to be signed. There was no gentleman available to sign the bond. So whatever. Having done this, then I could join there on a little late. As we sent them a letter from NCC that this boy will be coming a little late to in military academy. Kindly accept him. He's got some family problem, this, that, and all. So I joined there on 11th of January, 11 days late. But Indian Military Academy accepted me, and I got into their system of things from 12th. Where I looked around, see, you look for your country cousins. At least somebody from your part of the country should be there with whom you can interact. Otherwise, straight from your place you've gone, a landed of a place, you have to speak in Hindi and English, which I was reasonably good. So I managed, and after I think 10 odd days, I could find another gentleman, Mr. Mahapatra, who was from Ravenshaw University, Ravenshaw College. Then he was there. He had gone through the written test, CDS exam. I had a little problem. Sad thing was, after 15 days of my joining Indian Military Academy, on 31st of January that year, 75, my father passed away. He had gotten into some problem. So while in service, he was admitted, he passed away. And I had gone into some camp where I developed some medical problem. I was evacuated back. So they said, you're having mumps. So I was hospitalized. I got that information of my father's death on the fourth or fifth day in the hospital when two of my platoon commanders came to give me information. I thought probably they have come to look me up. I was in an isolation ward. So then I traveled back home, attended all those things, rituals. And then the problem is, they stated we have six siblings and widow mother, there is nothing to, no support. So what to do? To go back to IMA, to continue my training, to stay here. So my mother gave me courage. She said, don't worry, you go and finish your training and come back. And one of my friend took responsibility of my family. And the other friend came up, he took responsibility, whatever little expenses, because those days we didn't get stipend in the Indian Military Academy during our training. So I went back, I finished, there are 18 months of training, 3 terms, we call it 6 months. I finished my training, and having finished my training, towards the end, the instructors kept motivating me to join infantry, apply for the infantry. I thought in my mind, because you keep hearing different things, some lectures, something. So I had heard an officer who did extremely well in the helicopter. We used to call it air observation post. So I thought I will, in case I join artillery, I'll be able to try for the helicopter. So that's what was in my mind. And I applied for artillery. I got artillery. And when you get your rank, those days we used to get the second lieutenantship. Who's a moderator, Dr. Sahu? Please check me in case I'm going a little long, in case I'm exceeding my time. Give me an indication. So on the date of final day, you do a passing out parade. Some of you must have seen in the Indian Military Academy passing out parade or National Defense Academy. It's a very good event. It's available on YouTube. You can see it sometimes. And then you have to do the peeping. Those days we used to have our friends, relatives. My relatives, my mother couldn't come. I had a friend of mine, a senior, batch senior to me, mine, who was in the YMCA Dehradun. I had his address, and I had a gentleman batch junior to me, Colonel Santosh Frusti. So these two gentlemen pipped me as second lieutenant, and I joined my unit, which was located in Allahabad, back to Allahabad in July. So that was a pure South Indian unit. The troops, the Jawans were South Indian, officers were mixed. So expectation is that you should pick up the language in 3 months' time, and you should be able to write or at least read one of the language in a reasonable good period of time, say 1 year or something. So I could speak. If you can speak Tamil or Malayalam, then others can understand. So I could speak. I spent 3 years with them, and then I got a post transfer to my unit, another unit, where I continued for next 21 years, which one I commanded, and it was a pure Sikh unit. The unit was composed of all Sikh gentlemen. So the requirement is different. You have to know their habits, you have to know their pluses, minuses, and deal with them. But I had a wonderful time. And since I rose to the level of command, I had still better time then. So during this, then in the system, in the army, you keep on going different places, you keep on getting different experiences. So by then, I already seen the Kashmir, I have seen Northeast Arunachal Pradesh and other things. Then the keep on appearing some promotion examinations which I cleared in time. Then this competitive examination of the Defense Services Staff College, which generally there are 300 vacancies for the Army, Navy, Air Force. So generally it's a very tough thing. You have to study for at least 1 year, which I did. I studied for a little more over 1 year and I qualified. I went for that. So once you qualify in this, then you become little liked by the people around. And after having the course for 1 year there, it's 11 months plus course, you get to know the officers from the Air Force and the Navy. So therefore you make more friends and you make more strategic understanding. And you are given a MSc in Defense Studies certificate from the Madras University based on your studies there. You see, one is to think that once you're joining army, all the studies are gone, you don't have to study anymore, but then studies are there. But it keeps you updated. So having done this, that was the time of Sri Lanka operation. I got my posting to 2, 3 different places, but then what happened? Finally, I landed up back again in Arunachal Pradesh, a place called Tawang, where a Sundarangchu Valley problem had taken place a year prior. And I was in the operational task. I was the general staff officer, grade 2, who is in charge of all the operational systems. You have to walk around, see the defensive layout. You have to flown around in the helicopter, see the area around, and then put your recommendation. So that is where then while walking around, I met Chinese troops who were opposite to us. They have an interpreter. They were very fond of other than other things. The watch that you put on, I used to put on an HMT automatic white dialed watch. That guy was very fond of it, but we were told not to share anything other than whatever you speak. Don't speak anything about us, about our layout, etc. Try and get things from them. So during the tenure of my boys and girls, I talked about flag meeting in my thing. So that is where I got the opportunity of conducting, coordinating a flag meeting. What had happened is the Chinese troops had come to our area, Indian area. They had constructed a small structure which was noticed by our troops and they demolished it. So after demolition, we got a small letter that no, this was in our area, we had done it. So why have you demolished? We want a flag meeting to discuss on this. And whosoever has done this, he has to be punished, he has to be blamed, and whatever you do, please let us know. So once this happens, ladies and gentlemen, then you have to send the information up in the channel. So we sent it up in channel, and coincidentally, I was handling. My boss was on. One was away on doing a training. Another was away on leave. So I was handling the operational branch. So I was to coordinate this flag meeting, and my rank was a major, not very senior rank, but yes. So the super boss knew, the general who was there. He knew that this man can handle it. So I took a brigadier along with me. Then we went and attended the. You have to walk inside the Chinese territory, 4 kilometers. Go there. So very clandestinely, we have to take your communication system, telephone system. Suppose something goes wrong, so you have to inform them. Somebody has to inform them. And we sat down in a flag meeting. Discussion took place, and then we exchanged some gifts. That's the protocol, and matter got resolved. So nothing happened. So like this, so many other things. When I was in the Pakistan border, there was a problem. I was part of another flag meeting, but that you have to have that thing in yourself. You have that little bit of fear that I'm entering an enemy territory. What will happen? So if something goes wrong, all right, people are there to take care of you. So that's what then you have to keep it in mind and go inside. So having done this, then you carry on doing it. Then I got my promotion to the next rank, lieutenant colonel, where I became the number 2 of this regiment, which I commanded after 3 years. Then after when my turn came with my batchmates, I got promoted to the rank of the colonel when I took over this command. In artillery, we have got different guns. So this was a 130 millimeter gun, Russian origin, which was based out of in a place in called Alwar in Rajasthan. But we had an operational area in the western part of the country, mostly in the Rajasthan border. And I took command in 97, 1997, 1998, 1999. This Kargil war operation started off. So we all moved to our response area of responsibility. And since in the Kargil area they required all Bofors guns, 155 millimeter, and thereafter also they required the long range guns. So our regiment remained standby. We were deployed, but we were also told we will give you 2 days notice to come to the airport and you'll get loaded and will be flown. But we are not taken. We remained here till the war got over. But I had different commitments in that wartime, including handling one of there was one Mr. Bijan Thapar, Lieutenant Bijan Thapar, who died. His father was with us doing some administrative work, so he has to be given support to take care of that. When this his body came from Kargil area, so we took care of that, sent it to Delhi, and all those things. So after finishing my command of 3 years, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, sorry, something. Then I got different postings. We have instructional posting, we have administrative posting. So I had a tenure as director recruiting. I had a tenure as an instructor in our school of artillery, where I had to teach the officers and jawans and the junior commissioned officers. And then I got to know that probably I'll not see the next rank. I shared with my wife and children. I said probably I'm going to superannuate. And ladies and gentlemen, in the defense, the rank and age is correlated. If you have to retire as a colonel, you have to retire at the age of 54. So that's what happened with me. But in the year prior, so we got to know that you can do an executive MBA paying around 1 lakh plus in all these leading universities. So I applied for Ahmedabad because I was posted in a place called Jamnagar that point in time, but I was allotted Kolkata. So I came to Calcutta. I did my executive MBA, and by the time I finished my executive MBA, I had applied and I got two intimations. So I returned to my base because I had 4 months of service. So by the time I retired on 31st December 2007, I had three intimations. One from a company called Taco, another is a company based in Calcutta, third was a company called IFCO, and Taco was based out of Bombay and Pune, where my children were at that point in time. They wanted me to join Taco in Pune. I wanted to come to Paradeep. That is where IFCO was. So then I said I can fall back to my roots after a long time. So finally I joined IFCO. I spent 6 more years there. Once I turned 60, I retired from them with good financial support, whatever they have as per the company, and then fell back to Bhubaneswar, where we are settled down now, self and wife. And then having come here, then any of our category, the veteran category, ex-serviceman category, they know me. They said, "Sir, why don't you help us out resolving the problems in the ex-servicemen?" So they made me a senior vice president in State Ex-Services League. It's a tenure of 3 years. Thereafter, said, as let other people also have the chance. Then there's a Rotary Club, which is mostly there are good number of 20 odd Rotary clubs in Bhubaneswar. So there's one Rotary Club which is mostly occupied by the armed forces people. It started with brigadier. So they saw me playing golf once. They said, "Why did you join our Rotary Club?" I said, "What does it involve?" He said, "It involves this, this, this." I said, "All right, it's an art of giving. So you have to give little money, collect little money, and give little money to orphanage and other people." So I joined that, and they already become a president of that club 3 years ago. In Rotary Club, you congregate, you look after the basically the needs of the people. Like our club, looks after 5 orphanages in Bhubaneswar, including, there is one orphanage where, including a girl gets married. There's some kind of support is required, and we give them some ration, some food items, some clothing, like that. So that is how we do. And since my one of my child, my daughter is here in USA, so I keep coming to them, spend holidays. So what I said, boys and girls, the life, when you're going to select the life in the defense forces, in the army, because you have got some insight into the armed forces now, being in the NCC. So after your graduation, select your armed forces line, think of joining army or air force or the navy as an officer. Okay. Now, even today they have the NCC special entries, but the entries are taken to the Officers Training Academy, Chennai, wherein you train, you given commission. Like when you finish your training, their training is for 1 year. When you finish your training, you're given lieutenant's rank. These days, it's lieutenant's rank, the beginning rank. In our time, it is to be second lieutenant. So, and you get your stipend during your training. You get some portion of stipend, and remaining money is kept. So you get a lump sum amount when you get your commission, when you get your rank, and you serve for 10 years, extendable for another 5 years. And in this 10-year service, you probably will realize that the army life is better than the civilian life, so probably you will join there. Otherwise, like olden time, even today also, short service officers, those who join Chennai, we call them short service officers. They're called short service officers. They used to come, have the taste of the defense forces, and after that, they used to get into the corporate world. So today's style of getting into corporate world, yes, there is also a lot of competition, and there also you can get in with a lot of difficulty, but you will get fired out without much notice. Just 1 month salary, and then thank you so much, bye. Whereas the life in the army, which I'm shared with you, it's much better, and particularly for those of you who want to join as officers, I would recommend all of you should try for an officer. And otherwise, in the rank and file, if you want to join as a soldier, nothing bad. I have handled this recruitment 2 years in a place like Rajasthan. I was director recruiting Jaipur. So I out of 32 districts, I have traveled 30 districts because that's the major recruitable male population in that state. But you must try for officer rank. So I have a good life. I'll just put it across to you. After the seventh pay commission, if you wish to join army, the financially will be very well off. When we joined way back in 1976 till 75, the previous year, the second lieutenant salary was 450 rupees, out of which the mess bill, your expenses, normal food expenses, etc., used to be around 200, 250 rupees. When I joined, my salary was the money come home to your bank is 1077 rupees. I got a four-figure salary. Today, you're getting a five-figure salary as a lieutenant. You get around 60K. So financially, you quite well off. I couldn't have a scooter for 4 years, 4 to 5 years of my service. But today you can have a four-wheeler right away. So financially you're very well off. And you take care of three generations. How's that? You and your wife, you and your wife, your children, and your parents. So they're all dependent. And that's what I would just tell you. The career in army is excellent. I would once again appeal to all the young um, NCC cadets from all states to think of joining army or air force or the navy, whatever is your choice. So it's a good life. So with this, I'll come close to my sharing my experience with you, the laws of life, The laws of life has been very good with me. So I will throw this open to the question answer session. Should you have any question? So please, I'll request the moderator to kindly handle this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your guidance to our NCC cadets. They are really motivated and inspired by your life and career and your achievement. A soldier, each uh, definitely a man of action, and you are quite active till date only because of that spirit. Sir, there are two two cadets from two directorates who wish to ask something to you. So may I now? Uh, so sir, may they be permitted to ask the query, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Sir, please.
Jai Hind, sir. I'm Cadet Spanita Behra, belongs to the Odisha Directorate from Kalahandi University. Sir, as I came to know that you are once a NCC cadet, and even I am NCC cadet, and I feel very proud to be an NCC cadet. So my question is that, sir, how you have kept consistency in your life that you are such a successful, brave soldier today? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's very nice hearing a question from a lady. Please mute yourself. Yeah. Okay. Am I audible? Right. It's like this. The consistency of your life can be maintained. What how I have been able to maintain is hard work, dedication, and follow the path of truth. So all these things will come automatically to you once you think about yourself. No, all right. This is correct. I will do this. This is incorrect. You have the courage of conviction to say to your superior, to your peers, or to your juniors, anybody. No, this is incorrect. Will not do it. So this will bring. If you've done something, some mistake. Well, I have also done some mistakes. So you start feeling about it. You start feeling guilty about it. No, I shouldn't have done it. So I would recommend. I would suggest to all you children, all you boys and girls, follow the path of truth, and all of us more or less have are God fearing, trust in God. I do, I did. So have faith in God, follow the path of truth, and always look for the betterment of your near and dear ones, and automatically your good self will come to yourself also. Okay, have I answered your question?
Right.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiration, sir. Thank you, sir.
And these days, may I just tell you one more thing? In the can Dr. Sahu, can we have this questioner, this girl who asked the question? My message
There is a
specially
query
for
from,
my
sir, there
message
is a query,
yeah, yeah, yes,
sir,
please
there
go
is a
ahead.
query from a cadet of FPNCG Directorate. So I'm handing over this mobile phone to him.
Okay, okay.
सर जैन सर
Jain.
सर माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि आर्मी लाइफ ने आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ को कैसे चेंज किया
Army life, say that again, say that again. दोबारा बोलिए, दोबारा बोलिए, दोबारा बोलो.
सर माय क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि हाउ आर्मी लाइफ चेंज योर पर्सनल लाइफ
Okay,
हाँ
right, right. Okay, you see, mute yourself. Am I audible? You see, army life and your personal life is your army life, and army life is personal life. Okay, once you put on a uniform, so you get recognized that he's such and such rank. So you get, in case you, in case there are people junior to you, you get a salute. There are people to senior to you, you give them a salute. So that's your army life. Army life is discipline. Army life, what you're following in NCC. Army life is punctuality. Your system wanted me to be here. I took it voluntarily. I said I'll be lucky speaking to 400 odd boys and girls of the NCC, and of the lot, in case dozen of them or any number of them would like to get into the army life, I'll be very grateful if I get to know after a couple of years that after having heard my talk, so many boys or girls join the Indian Army. It'll be very nice. Okay, so army life and civilian life, you yourself, you are the man, or you are the woman, or you are the lady. Okay, so once you put on uniform, it happens anyone who's assigned a task. Okay, so you take it anyone who's assigned a task of anything. It's a doctor. Okay, so once he puts on his apron, he's in the surgery ward. He's doing it, so he's a doctor. So once he takes it off, he comes home. He's bhaiya or papa or whatever. So this is nothing wrong. You can lead your army life well, provided you have been leading your civilian life well. If you're leading your discipline life as a student, okay, so you can lead your life very well. What is a discipline life? You have to listen to your superiors. You have to consult your friends and your juniors. Okay, so you have to consult your peers, that is your friends, juniors, and you have to listen to your superiors. This is what is called a discussion. So we carry out discussion on various things, then we take a decision. So the decision is taken by the top man, the man on top who's heading the organization. He takes a decision. That is why it is never questioned. Okay, and decision is never discussed. आई होप आई विल एबल टू आंसर यू आपका जो सवाल था उसका मैंने जवाब दे पाया.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
thank you.
sir. Jai Hind.
Yeah, thank you, all the best, wish you all the best.
I have a question.
Yes, madam. You're Chandra Mishra. Are you Chandra
Yes.
Mishra?
ହଁ ହଁ ଆଜ୍ଞା
Okay, ଆଜ୍ଞା
ନମସ୍କାର, ମୁଁ
ନମସ୍କାର
ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ନୁହଁ, କିନ୍ତୁ
ନମସ୍କାର
ମୁଁ ପଚାରୁଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା.
ଏଥିପାଇଁ କି ଆପଣ ବୋଧେ ମୋ ସମାଜକର୍ଣ୍ଣ ହେବେ। ମୁଁ ପୁରୀର ବି ମୁଁ ବି SCS କଲେଜରେ ପଢିଥିଲି।
Exactly, which batch?
ମୋର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି
କୋଉ ବ୍ୟାଚ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କର?
ମୁଁ ଜମା ପ୍ରି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ପଢି ବାହା ହେଇ ଯାଇଥିଲି, କିନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ ଆମେରିକାରେ ଅଛି ସେବେଠୁ।
I
ଏନିୱେ
see.
ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ସ ଏ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟୋରି। ମୁଁ ପଚାରୁଛି କାହିଁକି ପଚାରୁଛି
ଆଜ୍ଞା
କି ଯୋଉ ଝିଅ ପିଲାଟି ପଚାରିଲା, ମୁଁ ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ହେଲି।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆମେ ସବୁ ବି NCC ରେ ଥିଲୁ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମର କେବେ ହେଲେ ଚାନ୍ସ ଆମକୁ କେହି ଆମେ ଜାଣିନଥିଲୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ମୋର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍, ମୁଁ ପୂର୍ବ କଥା ଆଣୁନି, ମୋର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ହଉଛି ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ପିଲାମାନେ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଇଣ୍ଟରେଷ୍ଟେଡ ହଉଛନ୍ତି,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ବଡ ବଡ ପୋଜିସନରେ ଥିଲେ ଆର୍ମିରେ, କି ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଦି ରୋପ୍ ହାଉ ଟୁ ଗୋ,
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଡୁ ଦେ ହାଭ୍ ଚାନ୍ସ, do they have some kind of a manual or protocol how they can join? Because army ତ ଆଉ ଖାଲି ଝିଅ ପୁଅ ପିଲାଙ୍କ ମାନଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ନାହିଁ,
no no
ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଝିଅ ପୁଅ ସମସ୍ତେ ସମାନ।
yes yes
ମୁଁ ବି ବମ୍ବେରେ ରହିଛି, ହରିୟାଣା ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ସବୁ ଦେଖିଛି। ଆମର ସେତେବେଳେ ଓଡିଶାରେ ନଥିଲା। ଆଉ ମୁଁ ସେଇଥିପାଇଁ କହୁଛି ଯେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ କଣ ସବୁ ଅର୍ ଦି ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଲାଇକ୍ କଳାହାଣ୍ଡି ଅର୍ ଏନିବଡି, how they are motivating. I mean, I see that the girls, sorry, I forgot her name. She herself is motivated, and that is wonderful. But not everybody is lucky or that kind of strong. So more question ହଉଛି, ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ଯାଇକିରି ଭଲ ପୋଜିସନରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି କି କରିଛନ୍ତି, ସେମିତି କଣ ଆପଣ ସାଧନ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କି ଆମର ୟୁନିଭର୍ସିଟି ଅର୍ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣମେଣ୍ଟ? ବାସ୍ ଏତିକି କହି ମୁଁ ରଖୁଛି। ମୁଁ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ନୁହଁ, ମୁଁ କିନ୍ତୁ ଭାବିଲି ଯେ ଭାବି ଚିନ୍ତିକିରି ଏଇ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଟି ପଚାରି ବୋଲି। ଯଦି ଏଇଟା ଆପ୍ରୋପ୍ରିଏଟ ଆପଣ ଆନ୍ସର ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ, ନହେଲେ ନେଇଗଲେ ବି ଠିକ ଅଛି।
no no madam, definitely I'll come back to you answering your query, and I'll request all the NCC students in particular to listen to the answer. Thank you very much. You asked this question, ma'am. Actually, these days, everything has become online. Okay. So the online website is available. I'm sure the university must be knowing if they require my help anywhere. I can share the online website with them. I think it's available at the Institute Directorate and in all the colleges, in all the universities. And it's known to, because everything has become online now, so it's known to students also. And particularly for the girls, especially for the girls, in the light of women empowerment concept, the girls can also take admission in National Defense Academy, which has been only boys oriented till last year. This year, 10 cadets have taken admission in the National Defense Academy, Pune. They will be joining the combat arms. When I retired in 2007, till then, we had seen the women officers in our technical arms like engineers, like communication, and like logistic department. But now they are getting into combatants, so there is a huge scope for the girl students to get into the armed forces. There is no problem. There is also a good scope for the boys. And ma'am, for your kind update, olden time, even today, there used to be a good number of lady doctors. The doctors community in the armed forces, especially in the army, because army is a major chunk in India, in everywhere, all countries. So the doctors in the armed forces, especially in the army, used to be either from Odisha or from Bengal. So these two
I
states,
know that because my friends are doctors there. But
yes,
I was talking about the people, girls who do not have that chance to be a doctor. First, you have to be a doctor.
I know, I
Then
know.
only you can.
No, the
But
girls can now
I
get in
know.
as at the fighting. If they can get into the combatant arms, they have to just get into the website, apply for it,
Hmm.
go for the interview. First time you cannot make it, then you can try it the second time. You given three chances. So the girls are very. That's what I said. Thank you very much for asking a question on behalf of the girls NCC cadets. So I'm sure they must have heard my answer. They all can try for it.
Yeah, the best thing is that their university should support because
Yes.
ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ କହୁଛନ୍ତି support ଆଣିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟିଏ individual. I am a example of that. My
Okay.
friends went to became doctors. I had to come to America and luckily I became a medical scientist. But
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just telling कि ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଯଦି university government ଏମାନେ ଯଦି help କରିବେ then they can get some lot strength and push.
I
I'm
think
sorry. I
then
kind
I
of
think, ma'am, the government is helping now. The government, they have the departments now.
बहुत दिन ହେଇଗଲା
Uh, uh,
ବହୁତ ଦିନ ହେଇଗଲାଣି ବଟ୍ ଦେଶ ସହି ଆୟା ତ ସହି ରାଇଟ୍
uh,
ଯାହା ଆପଣ କହିଲେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ
Thank you.
କଥା ମୁଁ ବହୁତ
thank you.
ଖୁସି ମୁଁ
Thank you.
ରହୁଛି
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh, thank you, madam, and thank you, Colonel Mishra. ମାନେ ବହୁତ ସୁନ୍ଦର ଭାବରେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଉତ୍ତର କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ହେଲା ଏବଂ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମର ସମୟ ଆସିଛି ଆମେ କଳାହାଣ୍ଡି ବିଶ୍ୱବିଦ୍ୟାଳୟର କୁଳପତି ମହୋଦୟଙ୍କୁ ଶୁଣିବା। ମୁଁ ଅନୁରୋଧ କରିବି ଆମ ମହାମାନ୍ୟ କୁଳପତି ପ୍ରଫେସର ଶତପଥୀ ମହୋଦୟଙ୍କୁ ସେ ତାଙ୍କର ପ୍ରେସିଡେନ୍ସିଆଲ ଆଡ୍ରେସ୍ କରିବେ।
I feel like he is amongst us in a very near distance, not in the other part of the globe. And here it is going to be evening and there it is morning. So that difference is not felt. So thank you, sir, for sharing your life sketch with my cadets. The topic law of life I have kept for this reason. Each one's life is different. Each one's fingerprint is different. The story of each stream is different. But with that difference, there is something common. You have to go ahead. You have to work hard and you should have a focus in your mind. Then many things are possible. We don't know what will happen next. Time is an illusion, and we believe that we have our feelings, our experiences, our sufferings, and a part of great and ultimately the jubilant moments which connects us to the cyclical unity of nature. There are moments of illumination. Against all odds, with our strengths and weaknesses, we have to go ahead. As Robert Frost told, woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, miles to go before I sleep, miles to go before I sleep. So, thank you, Colonel Mishra, for your continuous endeavor, which I can say in Japanese, the principle of continuous improvement. Go ahead every day, each day be a learning day, and ultimately success will be yours. So I congratulate all the cadets who are here, and these, we are in the 5th day, and all these days, or I can say in other language, they have become more than 50 days older in these 5 days. So thank you again. Thank you, Chandra Madam, for being with us throughout. And thank you all those listeners of Uttishtaka who are, many of us, there with us in all these 72 episodes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vice Chancellor, for your uh, inspirational speech to our cadets. I'm sure that the cadets have been inspired and encouraged by the speeches of our speaker and our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir. And now, may I request Dr. Kailash Chandra Das, Head of the Department of Political Science, to tender a vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Very warm evening, one and all present here. Esteemed Vice Chancellor, Kalahandi University, Sir Professor Sanjay Kumar Saraswati, esteemed honorable guests for today's episode, Colonel Sudarshan Mishra ji, all the way from United States of America, Honorable Register Sir, respected CPGC Major Dr. Jaydev Sahuji, respected Ma'am Dr. Jharana, all respected teachers, those who joined with this episode, my dear cadets, colleagues, friends, Sir Manoj, who is all the time sitting here with us, across the discussion. It's a wonderful moment for all of us today to get connected with Colonel Mishra, who just could give a very, very precise note of his life skills. And the title of the caption which is being kept for today's discussions by our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir is Law of Life. I always believe in one thing, that law is something one who obeys law, he or she flourish. One who doesn't obey law, he or she perish. So it is up to us that whether we are going to obey law or not obeying law. So there is a saying that people obey law not because they are good human beings. There is a saying that people obey law not because they love law, but the fact of the matter is that people obey law because they are scared of law. However, law of life has got a different meaning. Law of life has got a different smell. Law of life has got a different connotation. Therefore, out of all these discussions, I have got this opportunity to extend word of thanks to one and all. My special thanks to the special guest who really very minutely, very vividly expressed the entire journey of his life. I hope that that will be definitely having some very, very effective impact on the life of our cadets. They will try to go from here by learning something. To me, I will end up here by saying that, my dear cadets, whatever you launch today, you must go ahead. You must go ahead, not to go, but to grow. Please remember this thing, that we must always remember this particular saying, that we must learn not to go, but to grow. Thank you all and one. Thank you once again, and expecting such kind of programs in future. And I just found the difference today, that the person who delivered his talk today, justifying the situation which is happening in our university. Therefore, I salute our Vice Chancellor, sir, that this is a moment where we have so many cadets from different states across the country, and they could get the chance to listen to this person, and that will be definitely helpful to them. They will carry the message and try to reflect in their life. Thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Dr. Kailash Chandra Das, Head of the Department of Political Science, for your vote of thanks. Really, it gave energy to uh, everyone. So really, sir, our cadets will be obliged to you forever. You were NCC cadet and became a soldier, an officer. Our cadets will follow your footprints, definitely, sir. Thank you for addressing our cadets on our request. We shall definitely consult you on different occasions. In our NCC. Thank you, sir. So now may I request sing the Santi Patha.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Thank you, Lisa, for this Santi Patha. So may I now request our Honorable Vice Chancellor sir to declare this meeting.
So with a request to Colonel Mishra to visit our infant university when he will return from US, definitely he will like the place and will like this small but beautiful university. So
Thank you so much,
thanks
sir. Thank you.
to all of you.
Definitely.
And with this, we'll end up. Next Friday at the same time, we'll have the 73rd episode of this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.